Hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's stream. Can you hear me? Sound check, sound check. Good evening. So I got that little sneak peek. What do you thought about those songs? Sound check in state. Loud and clear. Awesome, awesome. Seeing any. Alright, so welcome to our stream today. Got a few things we wanna update with you guys. A lot of things is going on in the development. Some really exciting things. I hope you enjoy the tunes while we were waiting for the stream to start. I very much enjoy them. Very nice, very nice. Songs are perfection, indeed, indeed. All right. So, as you know, wasn't that long ago we released our first sprint. We had to follow up with some AI spawner madness that we finally got under control as well. Voice of an angel. Thank you, thank you. Please don't tell me second character slot got delayed. No, I can already calm your nerves by saying that is not the case. We know the second character slot is a big content update for a lot of players, not only old players but also new players want more things to play around with. To also, have enough value when it comes to subscribing for some people that want more, pretty much. My ears are bleeding. Come on, Mercab. What are you listening to? We're getting close to the next patch, Sprint 2. I'm gonna go through some of those updates. Just let me take a look here. And yeah, thank you everyone for the subscriptions. Prime. I missed a few in the beginning here. Snap with the Prime, thank you. Suicide with 20 month, thank you very much. Devil's Reflex, thank you also. And I may have missed some here. Tentar with the bits, add those songs into MO2's OST and just have it play in place of the environment music. I'm not sure if they fit in the game, right? Where's the music? I missed it. I was playing some Mortal songs before we started the stream. Still didn't add your monument. What was your monument? Her Furchloge. Put some life of huge map, please. Can be mob slot even. And when Star Vault stock gonna be back. We're getting there, We have a few things in the loop that gonna spice things up. Gaming TV, thank you for the Prime. Thank you very much. Alright, so let me just take one little thing here. Alright. So yeah, we are back on track with Sprint 1, as I mentioned. It's been very entertaining to watch the streamers having fun in the vault. I hope you enjoyed it. All of you guys that have the time to visit it without being slaughtered too much. We know that new dungeons are obviously quite popular and they can be dominated by large groups. So it's good that we're getting a few good, solid dungeon designs in the game spread out. And we already are quite far in the next one, obviously. Very exciting stuff also. A little bit different theme again. Just trying to spice things up. And again, just try to improve from past feedback and experience we get from our current dungeons. Good talking to you in Fab the other day. Yeah, Terp Sky, good to meet you guys. I always enjoy meeting players, obviously, in the game. It may be in random cities every now and then. My last visit was indeed in Fabrenum. It was fun to meet some people there. So yeah, that's fun. All right, let me catch up a little bit here. Will any of the upcoming sprint dungeon be in the jungle? Yes, there will be something in jungle area. So as we already I flagged for a few times, it's very important that we have an efficient work set up within the team and making sure we can try to deliver the patches somewhat on time, at least, our internal schedule or set up and important. But we also said that we're not posting any dates publicly because, if there's something that we run into, problems or anything, whatever that may be, or new things that we didn't foresee, we need to be a little bit flexible because we are a small team. Everyone is dependent on specific ways. So that's why we also added the information on top of the roadmap so everyone can know for sure that doesn't hear me on these streams, that we need to have the roadmap somewhat flexible if something happens or we need to rearrange or something like that. And we actually have a few updates today that I'm going to go through. So you know what's going on and for what reasons. What about PTR dates? Yeah, so we have a PTR coming up very soon, actually. I'm going to go through that as well. Make a dungeon in Texas would be cool. Make Giant Camp Red Town, give it more vendors. All right, so I'm gonna update the webpage as well now with the new roadmap as we go through the changes we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna take care of that also. So one of the things we had to rearrange a little bit, we know how important the character slot is, so that we want to make sure we don't delay that one. It's been quite a project to handle. We have multiple platforms and it's been everything is under test. We need your help as well on a PTR. So we're actually planning to run a PTR next week if everything goes as planned, where you will be able to test the character slot system, try to break it as much as you possibly can. That would be helpful. And we have the new TC Siege window system in place. We want you to test that as well if possible. We have the update on the supply towers. We remove the global defense values. They will instead give you supply to your city. They tick every 30 minutes and you can benefit from that by holding those towers. So that's one of the change. We also tweaking the numbers behind the supply storage, the siege window system, rather than having it completely tied to defense. We want to try to step away from the ninja sieges and the problems of, not being there when it's actually time to have a proper fight, right? So we're looking at a challenge system that a few of those MMOs are doing, similar to Evil Line. A little bit of Evil Line, but also Shadowbane. Some similarities to Darkfall. So that means you can challenge a guild for a siege, and within 3 days, the owners need to set the time window with a response, and within that time window is when the siege gonna go down. And hopefully that will also be more exciting, fun. Building up towards those hours, both sides can be prepared and go for it. So that's something we hope that you will be able to help us to test next week as well on the PTR. These have stolen quite a bit of time from combat abilities. We also had spawn issues that you all have been suffering from a little bit since sprint patch. So sadly we've been a little bit delayed there. We need a lot more time to get combat abilities in a good stage. So we're pushing combat abilities forward, and we're keeping the character slot system in this TC Siege system in Sprint 2, which is this next patch that we are delivering quite soon. So that's one of the rearrangement we're doing. We're also expanding a little bit with some more things that we have more clarified on the roadmap, which is Sprint 3. It's actually growing a little bit. You will see that we are planning to step over to Unreal 5.4. We're also working on some performance improvement there. We all know how important performance is, especially when we are in large-scale battles. So we're doing some work there. We're also doing important work on the new player experience and Haven. We are following and monitoring very closely now all new players. We have much better tools for that now, and we know where they struggle, where they fail, and where they stop playing. And we're also seeing some reviews of the game, YouTube videos where people give a lot of feedback with great stuff, right? And we're trying to cover as much as possible of that. So along with Sprint 3, we have a lot of those good things in place, and that's also where we plan to do additional marketing and reach out to more players, and also to make sure that that new player experience is indeed improved and working better, so we can see how those numbers progress after that patch. So that is Sprint 3. We're going to update the roadmap right now, so everyone can just go to roadmap and refresh, and you will see that that happens now. So Sprint 1 deliver, right? Sprint 2 is the one that we are going to run PTR on next week, if everything goes as planned. And then, yeah, we had to push around a few things there, as you can see. So, yeah, that's the update on the roadmap to make sure it's more up-to-date and a little bit refined. So that should be good. I would like to see Haven to be free personally. So that is the plan down the road, right? We are doing some important updates on Haven now. But the next step down the road for Haven is to actually make it free to play. And that should be a good way to get a lot of people trying the game and hopefully get more into the game with the new improved Haven experience. We're doing a very important big step here, but we also plan to do additional few steps when the time comes to make it free to play also later. Please allow us to add our old account to second slot. That is a different story, I'm afraid, and that complicates things very, very much. And we don't want to delay the character slot. Everyone has been demanding for that feature for quite a while now. We don't want to push it around anymore, right? No, that means weapon abilities is not. As I mentioned before, we are pushing it forward. We need more time, and you know, the spawn issues, multiple things that we have spent a lot of time on, performance issues that we're working on as well. So as you can see in the roadmap now, we have updated it, so it matches what I went through right now. And there's some important things on Sprint 3 also now that we have revealed, which is the new task and reward system, performance update, and new player experience, and Unreal 5.4 update. They have been doing some quite large improvement there in that version, so we hope that we can benefit from that much better. Or did the second slot come out? No, it's not out yet. It's the next patch. So PTR next week. That's when you can test the Siege window system that I mentioned and the new character slots. It's great that you try to break anything of that, because you know we need to have that in a solid state. Yeah, I mean, I'm also very excited for the combat abilities, but I think that it's very important that we do those correct, right? I know that a lot of people that are fan of combat, you know, it needs to be good, right? And we need to make it very solid. So I think that's something we shouldn't rush. So it's, you know, time spent on it, you know, it's better we do it right. I think you, most of you agrees with it. So second character is entering PTR next week. Yes. How is that complicated? A second character? You can ask Sebastian. There's a lot of things that you have to, go through and consider and fix. Everything is up and running now, but our QA team already found a lot of strange things, and we don't want to mess up your characters and accounts, right? So our guys have just been killing through it, fixing everything we found so far. But that's why we want you also to have a chance to do whatever on PTR, because if you find something critical, then we have the time to fix that. So it may sound easy, right? Just another character, that's it. But there's so many steps: how you log in, how you log out, where it is, how it saves, what happens when you crash your client and trying to log in a second character. There's quite a few things other than the obvious saving a whole new character in the database and how it works in your account and all of that. I can also clarify that we are using the second character as its own individual, so it won't go very deep Diva system that we talked about before. There is one main rule though, and that is that you can only have one house tied to that account, so you share the house between those characters. That's one of the main thing I would say. The veteran system is in Sprint 4, as you can see on the roadmap, so we are not fully there yet. Compatibility before free-to-play Haven, please. I think that is going to be the case, yes. Most likely, at least. Compatibility worries me of ruining the fun of Melee, and that is why we can't rush it, right? We want to do proper rounds before you will be able to PTR test it, and that's when we see if the majority think it's a great addition to the combat. If we can see 50% don't think it's a great addition, then obviously we're not in the right direction. So that is one of those features that I will flag for. It will take the time it needs, right, before we're happy and see overwhelmingly majority think, great, it adds depth and skills to the game. We can accept it, right? That's one of the rules I want to add to combat abilities. That's why I want that to be flexible and don't set a date on it. Yes, your other character will have your own unique first name, and we may even have to remove the surname, the last name, right? There are some complications around that as well, and they are not unique currently, so that's what we're looking at also. Yeah, and that goes hand in hand with the Fizz system, Fizz weapon system. So we ran into a few issues there where it kind of clashes with the dual system for it to work in a reasonable way. That's also one of those that we can't just rush it in a way how we're looking at that system right now, because it wouldn't be fun and great and feel good. We only want to add combat that feels good and are great, and that they need simply enough time to make that happen, and then PTR. So you also can give your feedback and play around with it. So that is the Fist weapons is also put on forward. And it depends on a few things, because those developers that are working on that is also working on performance updates for large-scale battles and combat abilities. They go a little bit hand in hand, so that's why they are together moved forward, if that makes any sense what I'm explaining here. All right, I'm gonna jump down a little bit here. Combat abilities will include archery, yes. So there will be, we're starting with one abilities for every single weapon group, including archery. I have 3 or 4 designed, so we're just going to continue on the next one when the first round is finished. Like I said, we need a lot more time to get that to feel great, and then we will invite you to PTR that system. Guys, can you repeat second character slot on next patch? Yes, that is correct. Sprint 2 is the next character slot, and that is planned to be PTR next week, so you can help us test it, make sure there's nothing broken in that system. They don't share the skills either. So you can do a completely new character, go spend the skills wherever you want, just like, you know, it as that character would be on another account. The only thing is that you share the house as the houses are account owned. That's the main difference. As a new player, accidentally made my character kind of bad, but don't want to delete it because of time waste or pay for a new sub, so I just quit. So that is one of the things that we actually have in our table for Sprint 3. We know that a lot of players don't know what it means, how you create the character. So they do what I think is nice, right? And then when they have played through Haven and even into Milan, they may join a group that says, well, you should remake your character because you want this or that. The thing is that we have changed, so you're not 100% stuck as long as when it comes to age, size, and so on. You can change those in the game with potions and stuff from other players, but changing clade is something you can't do in the game, right? So currently at least. So we are also addressing that. We're looking to make presets, classes, options for those that are new. So if they want to be, they know if I want to be a tanky warrior, there's a button for that will show that this is a proper build. It comes from the veterans of the game, you know, and they will see, well, you did it correct, right? You don't have to re-roll to get those stats quickly up and running. So we're doing stuff like that. We are also looking to possibly add, along with another system, a re-roll function. So you can actually re-roll your character in the game on an old character if you even want to change the clade. So you shouldn't ever feel that shit, I messed up and I feel the pain forever. What do? Do I scrap it or can I do anything? And that's what we're fixing. Pizza. Inferno Pizza. So we got you covered. We got you covered. We're getting there. Yes, it's an entire new character. Tazu. They don't share banks. Currently. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. Lycator is on the next sprint. So not this one. Next one. You can see it on the roadmap on our web page under About and Roadmap. So Sprint 1 is delivered, Sprint 2 is the one that we are starting PTR next week. So no, not shared bank as it looks now, it's only shared housing. All right, let me catch up a little bit here. So 2 accounts with 1 house slot. 1 account with 1 house. 1 account with 2 characters with 1 house. All right. And also one of the decisions why we didn't want to restrict the professional skills and so on the second character is that, you know, we are very early on in the age of Mortal 2. When you see the next roadmap content, there will be more and more professions and skills, both action skills and professional skills. So you're gonna wanna need those points to be able to try things out, right? And you know, we want proper value on an account. We understand a lot of people want to try completely different things, right, on one account. So it's going to be needed, especially over time when we add more and more profession and action skills. I mean, we have assassins, we have thievery, more magic schools, more crafting things, tailoring, barbering, you know, map making. There's a lot of things on the horizon. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling pretty good, Goose Lols. Thank you very much. Hope you're all good as well. All right, I'm gonna jump down a little bit here so I catch up. I'm always behind. Wow, I was more behind than I thought. All right, let's see. Dices and guild banners. It's one of those that we absolutely want. It didn't sadly make it to top 10 when the community voted. So there's two ways about it, right? We have a few things in the background that we always pick, and we know we need it for the game. And then we also try to obviously get a lot of input from the player community, what they want to see, what will you sub for, what are you looking forward to? Obviously that is a high priority for us as well, right? So depends on how we're going to do the next round of if we want to get some additional inputs, votes. We have to see, maybe make some room for some stuff that we simply decide we're putting this as well, you know, stuff like that. So one of the cool thing also that we are adding now with the new player experience is that we're looking at the fledging flag. We want to bring back the fledging flag, but with some specific changes. Obviously, we don't want to make people invulnerable with that flag. That doesn't really teach a player how you play Mortal Online, right? But there are some good components to it to identify new players, how we can promote good interaction between them, and also how we can punish players that simply kill a noob that doesn't have anything to, you know, of value. So we're looking into that as well. There's some good things how we want to make sure that, you know, for instance, if you kill a yellow player, you will lose more standings because you're doing a very poor thing that doesn't benefit anything in the world other than pushing players away from the game. And we all want players in game, including the murderers, right? If they run out of players to kill, they're gonna get bored also, right? So it's just logical things and improvement, and not Care Bear at all. Yellow player is simply a flag that informs you this is a completely new character. It's a waste to kill him because he have only noob stuff pretty much. You know, we want to encourage player to recruit them, teach them, get them into their guilds and so on, because that's how we get new players to stay in a much better ratio. Randomly running into a killer, getting slaughtered and lose their hard-earned silver coins doesn't really help, right? So just logical promotion system that helps the players. Protect the new players, and we need them. We do. Everyone are asking, you know, when are we ramping up marketing? We want more players. I mean, you know, there are several steps that helps us get more players, and not only get them, but actually keep them, right? So keeping new players is very important. Now when we have the new monitoring tools, we're very closely monitoring a new player, what they do, when they take a break, when they stop playing, where they get frustrated or fail or simply doesn't understand the game. And we are fixing a lot of that for the Sprint 3 patch with the new player experience improvement. Along with that, we also add a notice board function. So you as a guild today will be able to add your guild information on this system, and you have some different options where you can recruit new players, you can get contacted by new players. So the new players, when leaving Haven, will access this window, and they can, you know, scroll through, searching for guilds, contacting guild leaders or, you know, specific ranks, and apply and be recruited. So a very good trade between current guilds and players and new players. Something we absolutely also need to add. We see quite often new players that are, you know, interested in the game. They want to do more things. They want to play with other players because this is a sandbox MMO. And sometimes they ask in help channel, or sometimes they find a way into Discord and they ask there. And some people say check the forums or the Discord channel for recruitment. Not very modern, right? We want to make sure they can do all of that inside of the game rather than randomly find it outside of the game, right? So just another very important thing we want to do. So that's something that's you know, powerful tool for you as well. We know a lot of you guys are recruiting, trying to find those new players and enjoy taking them in. It's a really good thing for the game and the community. So obviously we want to promote that by giving you powerful tools so you can recruit on distance as well. Will it be like a guild notice board? Yes, but I'm not even sure if we're gonna have it on an NPC, because again, the problem is new players don't know where to find these NPCs. They miss them, so we may as well add it in the guild function where so everyone can access this function pretty much. So we're looking at that right now also. Speaking of new player experience, let's remove legacy priests, reintroduce legacy equerries, and make strongholds comes down with a priest. I think when we had game bug problems, etc., games are refusing to help us or ignoring. They don't ignore. I know they do everything they can, but sometimes there's obviously more things that needs to be covered, went through, or clarified before they can help in some of the cases. But obviously that's something of high concern from us, high priority to try to cover and have as good as possible as well, next to the complete game development, right? In game quest board or notice board for advertising. On that note, look into creating merc contracts for... Yeah, so we had a pretty cool notice board system in the first game that can be expanded into, you know, services like that. You want to hire someone. So obviously we want to expand further on that, right? Also over time. We see a lot of new players every day, like I say, and we monitor them very closely. And currently, it's such a high random chance if they are becoming a long-term player or not. We can't let that be a random chance. We absolutely need to improve those fall trap holes that we see them step into. So we are addressing those now. And after that, that's when we're going to do another round of inviting new players in a wider amount. When will we improve the service so that they can support more than 2,000 players? We already do. We already are surpassing that quite a lot. We've been way above that for several months. Now we are a little bit below that. We've had another influx of players increasement the latest weeks. So it goes up and down depending on the cycle and period of time. But we are absolutely gone beyond that a long time ago. I don't know if you remember, but we talked about it and had many server improvement patches for the last year, almost non-stop since the release. And we have done huge optimization multiple times. So, you know, we have more issues on the clients right now with Unreal 5. The FPS is the bigger bottleneck currently. We ran 450 players without any freezes. Everyone had quite low FPS though in Unreal 4 with 450 players, 800 in one node, which was our record. I think it was around 800 or even 1200 in one node at one time when all other nodes had crashed. We were surprised it ran so well with 1201 node, which is quite insane numbers. Now if you are 300 players on screen, that's when a lot of clients are freezing, and you know, we've done improvements on it, but it's still not where it used to be. We want to, you know, surpass that, and that's one of the things we're also working on with Sprint 3 and the Unreal 5.4 updates with performance updates. We need to get back there to have those higher record again to be happy. We do plan to add the clothing as a separate tab system that is cosmetic and obviously could be tied to a lot of gold sinks also, yes. We haven't really decided if there should be life bar on Spiritists. I heard, is it you, Ray, that suggested that last stream as well? I remember someone suggested it. Maybe that's something we should do, but we haven't really got to the time to actually just decide it or not. When is second sprint? So I can tell you that we plan to start the PTR next week. So depending on how that goes, right? we will get closer to our final date. There may be some broker updates along also on Sprint 3. A big maybe, but there are some stuff planned if things goes smooth. Sorry, I should have obviously updated to this next topic. So all right, let's see. Let me jump down a bit here again. What the amount we're getting next sprint? So we are getting the Tower Dogs, I believe, next, and then the Lycator, if I'm not mistaken. We don't have a date on the fist weapons and the combat abilities. I mentioned that before, that everyone knows that obviously adding new combat mechanics, weapons and so on is very sensitive. We don't want to rush it. We don't want to have it halfway done or half good or unbalanced. We want to make sure that it's in a solid state before we start PTR, so you can experience it how we intend it to be. And then I think we may need more PTR time on such sensitive features before we feel that, okay, the majority signs off, this is a good thing, now we can add it. Because it's quite different to add a new combat ability or weapon group type compared to adding a completely different feature, right? A lot of people that are very passionate about melee fighting, PvP and so on, combat, and now it's one of the strengths of this game. A lot of people enjoy the game because of our system. We want to make sure that we are adding something that fits and works for the majority. I mean, you may not enjoy it and ignore it, but it shouldn't be a game break or completely change the how you fight in a game or such. It should be something that adds depth and player skills. That's at least the main goal with expanding on it. But it's something that can't be rushed, I think. Yeah, the Lycators. So we have a draft on them now, and I have to say, holy shit, they look so cool that I think you would be blown away how cool they are. Such a next generation step up from the first game of the Lycator, and it's more true to its nature, how it was supposed to look also, and it's just awesome. And I think we decided not to sneak peek Lycator. We're just gonna say it's in the patch, and the players get to find it and share it. And I think you're gonna be happy with how damn cool it is. Right, so with Unreal 5 now, with the day-night system and darkness system having in-game, we are able to utilize the night visions. We just simply haven't had the time to go through it and set the numbers. Again, we are a small team. We always struggle with manpower, right, and resources and time. Everyone wants everything now, and obviously that's not impossible. So it has to go somewhere in the list for our developers. I'm not sure exactly where it will and when that will go, right? Will Siege Winner work for keeps and villages? Yes. My cars need a house per character. They don't like each other's. Yep. Mm-hmm. Would make Spitters PvP so much better with a life bar. I guess so. I guess so. You mean PvE, right? Not PvP. I mean, you do see the life bar on the character, but not the spirits. That's what you mean, right, Ray? Can you stop player's swing turn attack? There is no limit of turning speed. There is a limit, but maybe not how you think it is, and it's quite generous today. As I mentioned before, we do plan to make that more strict along with our expansion of combat abilities and options, because that's one of the things, right? You don't have too many options and tools when it comes to PvP, and that is why people are spinning and hiding their directions, and that becomes, you know, the player skills when it comes to that. So it goes hand in hand with the expansion of the combat that gives you more tools. Henrik, what's poppin'? Keep up the hard work. Yo, Hustler TV, how's it going? Wait, what about tower dogs? They will be mountables, for instance. Show a roadmap. So it is on the website. Anyone can go there to see the update that I mentioned. Main web page about roadmap. So that's the latest updates. Tower dog, what? Am I that far behind again? Holy shit, I am. Sorry, guys. Manpower. You know, it's all about the manpower. Will both characters be able to control the house, pass run shots? Yes, that is how it looks. And like I said, you will be able to PTR that next week. So you can try everything out, and hopefully we won't run into too many severe issues. We found quite a few things and strange situations already, but they have been sorting them quickly. So that's why it's really good if we can have a PTR with a lot more players joining in and they doing their shenanigans, right? Trying to break things, which is awesome, so we can spot it before we push it live. Hopefully. Footwork, thank you for the subscription. Second card slot, about time. Sad to hear that it's one house per account, but it's for the best. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite surprised how many houses we have in Milan already, and there's valleys after valleys with houses everywhere. Sure, there are some of them decaying over time as well, so you can do some treasure hunting, which is interesting. Gets the good old UO vibes when you found a house close to decaying and it was up for grabs. That's something I did in UO many years ago. So it triggers that nostalgic feeling when I see people doing that in Mortal as well. But yeah, there's a few reasons, right? Space in the world are running out. The cost and different functions, so on. So currently we are at least tying it to the account, and the house was already kind of account bound. It's just that now you have another character to play around with as well. Houses everywhere because storage limit is stronghold and keep is dumb. What about bear armor? Going to just give the books? Yes, we're adding them also. And great news. It looks like our devs found finally the damn AI pathing around house corners getting stuck, right? Seems that's fixed, so it should be smooth again around houses. So there's a lot of good fixes as well along with this sprint as usual. There's always good stuff and quality of life. Some really good quality of life fixes with armor training, the skills, you know. It's quite silly where you have to be overburdened and stand on a little net and fall down. You know what I'm talking about, those strange things of training skills. So we made it so you can train skills without being overburdened. So you can run around and actually play on your armor limit without getting penalty and gain skills. We also separated them so if you drop a skill point in your armor training, you don't lose full heavy armor. You know, quality of life stuff like that. That will make your playing much more smooth and less painful whenever those things happens. I'm not sure if we want to do a dungeon sneak peek. It's really nice, really cool and unique in its own way. Again, it's a nice theme. I like it. And there's another twist this time that I'm very excited about to see how you experience that. So you'll notice there's something, a completely new type of concept that is one of the focus thing or surrounding thing with this dungeon that is going to be exciting. And it's a cool way to make use of the entire dungeon in a nice way also. So I'm looking forward to see how you rate this next dungeon compared to the Vault and Undercraft. It's been really awesome. You started quite strong, I think, with Undercraft. Am I doing sounds with the mic? Sorry. I think it's better now. Yeah, it's there's something with the cable. I pushed it in, so it should be good now. We got really good feedback and ratings on. I'm good now, right? Good feedback and rating on Undercraft, and we got even better on the Vault. Seems like a few more people enjoyed the Vault better. It did sound like it was getting scratched. Yeah. I know what it is. It's sensitive. It's like it's what's it called? Glap. What's it called in English? It misbehaves when you the cable is like, I don't know, bad or something. So yeah, hopefully this next dungeon will be at least as good as the Vault, but with a new element that makes it awesome, hopefully. Maybe frayed is the word. I'm not sure. Hello, Enrique. Hello, Lucio Borstero. Temperamental. Frayed. Maybe frayed. Let's go with that. Most dungeons are locked by big guilds and new people or small groups have no chance to try them. Strigors, that is pretty accurate. People have been dying for new awesome dungeons and content, right? And now when we finally add them, big forces and groups rushes to them to explore them and, you know, be first at figuring things out and finding it's exciting stuff, right? It's good rewards and new stuff. So it's naturally going to happen. And we understand that many smaller groups or even solo may have to wait a little bit in line before they dare to venture there without being slaughtered, right? It's a natural thing, but the fix for that is obviously to add more spread out, so there will be more options and also harder for one single big force to dominate all of them, right? So that's why we actually cranked a lot of effort into adding great dungeons. All of them should be enjoyable, fun, great, good value, and some different challenge levels on them, right? Everything from small solo groups to be able to enjoy fully throughout them to a lot more challenges where you really need to play with a solid group and do things correctly. I think this next one is going to be a lot more challenging for a lot of players. So there will be something for everyone, right? Balric, thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. So yeah, I think over time now when we're adding so much dungeon content. I think you will, as solo group and play solo and small groups, be able to enjoy a lot more. We already saw new groups saying, let's go to the Underdark. You know, it's been everyone is busy in the vault, so we actually see more common, casual, smaller groups enjoying some of that content, and obviously it will help even more with additional dungeons going in. I mean, we have 2 great dungeon experience to be added next, spread out again in Myrland. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna get better. So entities is the final step we need to do, right, to finish Elementalism fully. That developer that is the main developer for that school is busy with the TC system that everyone have been yelling at, that, you know, the all didn't work good enough. We can't get it to work without fiddling around back and forth infinitely. So we said, fuck it, let's make a proper challenge siege system that works pretty well in some of the sandbox in the world that have been, you know, had similar systems. So we rely on something that we know kind of worked back then, instead of trying to spend more time into something that maybe won't work good enough, right? So we need to finish that and see where we stand before we will slowly plan ahead again to continue with finishing entities. So yeah, until we have ironed out those systems, we should be able to see where we stand. I'm beginner in MO2. Follow me, guys. Demon White, of course. Are you new to Mortal Online? Welcome if you're new. Can we get more options in the video settings that actually increase FPS? I get 30 to 40 in the same place and can't really play the game without frame generation. Combat feels clunky with frame gen. Yeah, if you already struggle, then frame generation have some issues, absolutely. That's the downside with it. It's kind of like, if you already have decent FPS, then it boosts you to a really good position and it works very well in combat. But if it's struggle before frame generation starts, can feel a little bit wonky, right? And feel more of the input delay as well. But it seems that AMD have done great improvement with their frame generation. FSR 3 have a crash bug that not only is happening in Mortal Online but other games as well. So they're working on that crash bug, and they also have some additional updates on FSR. So should hopefully just be better and better and stable also very soon. But as I mentioned, we are working on optimization. We know important base FPS is in the background. So as you can see on the updated roadmap, in Sprint 3, we are covering some things there, both client and server side performance updates that we have found that we will be doing. King Silver Death, thank you very much for the subscription. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So yes, absolutely. We know FPS is always important, right? Gameplay and performance is very important. And then secondary is visual fluff, I would say. Craft was really good, to be honest. I agree. I enjoyed it very much, and I enjoyed watching a lot of shenanigans and a lot of combat down there since day one, pretty much. Really hot spot for action. Need more loot and mobs out from the dungeon. Only seems the dungeon is the best area, which sucks. We are also planning to add more out in the world content, points of interest, camps, wandering, mobs and loots, just to keep on expanding the world. I mean, it's a huge world, Milan, right? And we have mapped out which areas are lacking content and stuff. We are starting with adding solid dungeons, because a lot of people enjoy dungeons and voted for dungeons. They work both solo, small groups to large groups. Obviously, we need many of them for everyone to be able to enjoy them as well. So we're adding those, and we're starting in areas where we know this area is lacking a lot. No one is playing a lot in this zone and this area. We have a lot of server performance there that are not being utilized. Then obviously that makes for a very good hotspot for something, right? And that can be any type of camp or dungeon or anything like that. And we have a pretty good picture now on what players enjoy, what they feel about it, and what's good gameplay and good PvP around that kind of content. So we also get better and better in having proper tools and pipelines to support that in an efficient way. And I hope, at least, and believe that our current dungeons being added kind of shows that is correct. I work on skills for rogue archetypes in MO2. Yes, we have rogue and thievery and assassination skills that is coming. That is everything from trap making, poisoning on weapons, and yeah, some stealthy elements as well in a specific way that obviously fits Mortal Online. So absolutely, that's something I'm personally looking forward to as well, to be able to play a stealth assassin rogue type. All right, let's see. All right. I should not be able to roam for 10 minutes without seeing a point of interest, dungeon, or group of mobs apart from outlaws. The world does feel empty at times. There are still, like I said, many areas that are quite empty and lacking. And those are the ones we are working on. Like I said, we added 2 dungeons in good locations now. We added more and more spawners and outlaw dynamic spawners in empty areas. We keep doing that every now and then. Obviously, the goal is to make sure there's a pretty balanced, spread out something in every region, right? And it's an ongoing thing because the world is so huge. And we also always have to monitoring the server performance depending on how much we add in those areas. Amazing work so far. And I remember when you talked about ritual table in your house for necromancers. Is still a thing ever coming? It will come, obviously, right? But sadly, it have stumbled upon those between those shares, or whatever the expression is, due to there's always something critical, important, or something that everyone is demanding that it should be in now. And the developer that initially started on that also quit quite a while back. That kind of put that in a category where someone haven't been too hungry to pick it up and go through it. So a little bit unfortunate how it got into in that corner, and haven't really had a time to figure out exactly how we're going to address it and who should be taking over that part. But obviously we need to make it happen sometime, somewhere, right? Again, the question comes down to when it's time to do it, based on everything else we all want in the game. It's one of that big challenge, right? To build a puzzle. King Silver Death with the Prime. Thank you very much. Or am I reading it again? Yeah, it was Bill Bounty with 27 month. Thank you very much. Thievery was such a core element in M1. I'm excited to see it return in MO2. Lockpicking and pickpocketing were so much fun. I agree. It was fun. It was a little bit unbalanced though, so like I said before, we're gonna introduce it again a little bit more balanced with a little bit more risk reward. I also think that the thieves themselves will actually enjoy, so they feel more rush when they're going for it, right, rather than just spam it, right? So I agree, it's a very cool feature, and I think it absolutely belongs in Mortal 9. It's just important that we get the balance right, so it doesn't get too out of hand, right? But there's absolutely good content with that, and fun content, and not only versus players. My plan is also to allow you to steal from everyone, you know, PvE, AI also. Yes, I commented on that before. We do plan to reduce the turn cap in combat whenever we add those additional options that we have talked about, that we are slowly approaching. What games do you play, Henrik? Do you play MO2? I do play MO2, yes, and that is obviously my main game. I work a lot, many hours, so if I don't do that, I obviously try to take some break from the computer. I sit a lot, so I'm trying to take breaks from the computer. But obviously I'm a gamer as well, so every now and then I get the urge to play something. And there are not too many games that I'm fond of playing currently. There isn't something really exciting either, I think. I try some new games every now and then to get inspired and see what other game developers does and how they do things. That's always interesting to see. You're also quite burnt how you enjoy and play other games or even watch movies today, because we always try to figure out how do we do this, how do we solve that. So instead of enjoying it and just being immersed in the game, you may think, how did they do that? I can see they did that. They did that sneaky trick there, instead of enjoying it, you know? It's a little bit strange. It comes with the work, I guess. But yeah, I do enjoy very much logging into MO2 every now and then. Just visit a city and just VoIP with people, strangers. I talk to new players, old players. Quite often people recognize it's me, right? But sometimes they're clueless, it's me. It can be new players that are talking to me and they want to show me how to play the game, or, you know, educates me or recruits me, which is really cute. But it's really fun. I enjoy it very much. And it also gives me a first-hand experience too. I was listening on two new players and they were talking about the game, and I just started playing it for 2 weeks and I just love it. It's so cool. I enjoy Rust, but you know, this is so much better. And other player was, you know, commenting on that, and it was so fun to just stand there next to them and listen. They, you know, they were asking me how long I've been playing and so on. So it's just unique experience and it's really nice. So yeah, I enjoy doing that and get some first-hand experience as well. It's about time I also refresh my combat skills and pick that up again, and I want to see if I can join in on a event or a group or something. I'm missing that as well. I do play every now and then with a few friends, real-life friends that I have that I meet, and we join up in game and do some shenanigans as well, but they're quite noobish, you know, quite noobish. Assassination 2 years from now, I'm not sure. Depends on how we decide to move forward with the next roadmap. If we want to pick something that we know this is good for the game, we need this, and then see what kind of input we want to get from the community, if they want to, you know, lift something also with votes and so on. So we will see how we proceed with the next round. All right, I'm gonna jump down a little bit more because I'm slow. Leolor, thank you with the Prime. I think I missed that one. Can you show one more time the roadmap, please? I didn't show it. I just commented on it and said that if you go to the webpage, MO2, you will see what I was talking about, the updated one. So if you haven't seen it, it's this link. And you can just see the updated version that I commented on, how we rearranged a few things. Alumni, thank you for the Prime. Did my alert stop working, or am I just slow and behind? No lightsabers in the world of Nave. Good question, good question. I mean, there's a few magic schools with some specific spells that are gonna be interesting in its own way, but maybe not completely lightsabers. What does Unreal 5.4 add? I've seen another game talking about update to that recently. So we are a good showcase of Unreal 5. We're talking to Epic Games. We are going through the performance issues in large-scale worlds. They are promoting Unreal 5 as a powerful tool to build large-scale worlds, right? I'm sure you have seen that. But it doesn't really perform and play good enough for that, I would say. And we can see that in Unreal Immortal Online 2 as well. We struggle quite a bit with their tools. Some of their tools are in beta phase, not really suitable for full use yet. So we obviously struggle a little bit because of that as well. And they have been working on some of that to improve those beta phases and also in general improve some performances when it comes to lumens and such, which obviously we benefit from also greatly. We have cranked out of all juice we could when it comes to lumens settings and options in our engine. But them improving core rendering pipes for that tech is obviously beneficial for us as well. So we hope to be able to utilize some of the things they are updating and improving. And we're also focusing on some improvements. We have a few things we've identified that can do good performance gains as well, both on clients and server. So we're doing some part and we hope and rely on some stuff from Epic Games, specifically that engine update that is quite a bit focused also on performance gains. Well, letting everyone become a Jedi. J45K, I don't know if you know what that system is. Why are we saying that? We are not doing that because not a single person has become the Jedi slot yet, J45K. But sooner or later, we will implement that part, which allows some individual unlock, not force sensitive slots, I would call it, but because that's how they were called in that game, right? But I don't know how we call them, but something similar, right? Yeah, the stack thing we have fixed. So again, there's a few things, a lot of fixes we follow up on as well in this patch. As Unity dev, I don't want to hear it, Henny. U5 is very powerful, lol. Indeed, indeed. I mean, it's obviously far from perfect yet, and one of the downside being the first MMO in the world on Unreal 5 comes with its both ups and downs, right? You can utilize a lot of cool and good stuff, but also some things that are a little bit premature, not fully developed or stable enough, we suffer from as well, and we try to do our own solutions surrounding that, which obviously is difficult for a small team like us. So we rely quite heavily on how Unreal 5 develops and how Epic updates it. And unfortunately, they focus a lot on movies industry, high quality systems that are more for movie rather than games. So if you put any of those meta-human systems in a game, it just explodes. It's ridiculous. And being a sandbox game with thousands of players, that makes it even worse, right? So obviously we need to be careful on how we can utilize the engine. But it's obviously a greatly improved engine from 4, but it's still very young, I would say. It needs to mature a little bit more. And we really hope that Unreal 5.4 will help us in the right direction. They went backwards in the latest update, we believe, quite strongly, also in performance. So we hope that they don't rush too much and feature creep too much, because that's something they tend to do as well. They want to hype and sell the engine a lot for, you know, good reasons. But sometimes when it comes to a specific game, isolated things, it's not the best perhaps, and you know, may put a lot of work on our end as well to try to fix a lot of that. But we have high hopes that Unreal 5.4 update will be a great step in performance direction this time. That's at least how we interpret how it looks currently in the preview version. But we will see. You never know until we get the hands on the fully version. But it's coming quite soon, so we will know soon also. So obviously that's a determined factor, right? Depending on how that update goes, we will also update it, you know, how that goes for us. How long until Sprint 2? So the PTR is planned for next week. So that would pretty much determine a little bit, hopefully we will see where we stand. We're going to test the character system, the character slot system, and the TCCH window system, the supply towers, etc. Those are the main things that we want to, make sure it works. So we're getting there. All right. Best small team around. Thank you very much, Optimal 3. I'm very proud of the team. Many people just take it for granted and forget about that. We are indeed a very small indie company, small team. And people compare us to the giant games out there, World of Warcraft, Star Citizen, and so on. And people are so hyped about Star Citizen's mesh server tech where they could get 300 people in one node without loading, and it was only delayed a few minutes for each action. We already surpassed that. We all know that in here, that the dev teams in Star Wars should absolutely get some creds for the awesome tech we have been doing over the years, and it's way beyond Star Citizen, I have to say. And now they are talking about it's one of a kind in the world, and they describe our tech very precisely. But we're nobody, right? We are in the shadow. We are small in the game, so they don't have to count for us already done that tech, right? That's one of the pros when you're a big company and we are a small company. But I want to give our team creds for having that tech that are already in Mortal Line. I think the Star Wars team deserves that. Chris Roberts promised me an Orion for 512 years ago. The big new world is shutting down. Are they shutting down? I heard something that they may be shutting down. That's quite surprising. That they started with a big sale, insanely big sale. But then it kind of quickly went down, right? And then I heard they made a little comeback and were quite steady again. But maybe they made a calculation, it's not worth it. I don't know. I haven't really followed it. How do you feel about the music you star in? I mean, that's pretty awesome, isn't it? Pretty awesome music. Yeah, we do plan to revisit the old dungeons eventually when we have some spare time for the artist team. We want to see if we can add more entrances, exits. We know how that is very good for the dungeon, right? And also look over some of the loot tables. So we'll probably go over them eventually. Does the Sprint 3 new player experience also include a free-to-play Haven patch? No, it won't be free-to-play. It will hopefully change the numbers that we are monitoring when it comes to new player experience, where we have hiccups, where they struggle, where they get lost, and where they quit. We have a huge focus on how we fix a lot of that, and hopefully we will see more positive numbers based on that group of players that we strongly believe we can get to be mortal players over time. So we have some really important things that are coming along with that. But it doesn't mean it's ready for free to play. We need additional steps before we can change Haven to be free to play. But that is the plan eventually. The new players get lost finding out of Haven. What do you mean? The new players get lost finding out of Haven. You mean when they're trying to leave Haven? We know where some struggle, and we have made a very detailed map of every single step we want to improve. No sneak peek today, actually. No sneak peek today. New players always ask how to leave Haven. Yeah, exactly. That one. We agree. To run to the fishing village to leave Haven is a little struggle for some players. And again, that shouldn't be a struggle. So we're actually implementing or enabling the task system that will teach them to do things. And also, obviously, that's a good way to show them a location, right? So we have a very good plan that we are, working out now to make sure that Haven will be a much more pleasant. The tutorial will be improved and more smooth. We will make sure that there are proper dungeon raid boss experience. There will be the introduction of the task system, so they know how that works, and also know that you can do those tasks on Milland. So there are going to be some really good improvements on Haven, and also for the new players we have the notice board guild recruitment system. When they do leave Haven, they will have the fledgling flag that will show the citizen of Nave that this is a new player. It's not worth killing him. If you do, you're gonna lose a hell of a shitload of standings. So you better supporting, maybe recruit him even. So he actually becomes a long-term player rather than shocked too quickly, right? We need to gently push them over the step. You know how it is. You know how it is. They will not share crafting points. Tikmo, your second character slot will have its own skill tree. We're gonna add more and more skills as well, and I know people already struggle to do their builds. So we thought let's give you full spectrum of skill range, because there are gonna be more skills and professions either way over time, which means you won't be able to cover everything either with 2 characters. That's change for new player. Yeah, absolutely. It's important. We are forgetting that many of us are long-term vets. Many of us even come from more than one. We went through pure hell, right? We can tolerate the pain, but a new player that are new to this genre are just in shock. We need to push him gently, gently initially, before he gets the full shock treatment. Then he can handle the full shock treatment better. And not only that, he can actually enjoy it, because holy shit, I haven't felt like this since almost forever, right? And that's the beauty of Mortal Online. We want to feel a unique gaming experience, but it shouldn't be a full slap in the head after the first moment, right? We need to gently push them, gently push them. And my skills, we don't have point enough as it is. Yeah, that's what I meant, right? A lot of people feel that they want more skill points, right? To do more things. So you're getting a new character, but not only that, you also remember in Sprint 4, right? We have the veteran system that allows you to do even more, refine your characters even further. So yeah, you will absolutely be able to do more and try out more things to give you more value and different, play options. But along with that, like I said, there will be more professions and skills also. So you will still not be able to cover everything, and that's also intended design, right? You want player, trading, interaction, and complementing each other in specific ways. What are the conditions till their flag disappears? So we haven't set the exact time frame on how long you have the fletching flags and so on, how many days that should be. But it's a good way to help. So one of the things was, in the first game, you couldn't kill someone with yellow flag. So obviously all players figured out, how do we abuse the crap out of this? So instead of noobs benefiting from it, vets abused it. So it didn't really work, right? And then add on top of that free to play. So you created an infinite amount of free to play yellow involved characters. Just a mess, right? So obviously that's something we are not stepping into this time around. But the yellow flag can be used in some good ways to identify new players and also add a certain punishment when you do kill a yellow flag player, so they hopefully will be more spared by a lot of players that don't want to completely wreck their standings and so on. So I think that's a good direction instead. That makes sense. The flag will be account bound, right? So if it's a new player during those first hours and days, that's when it's running, right? But if you played for a year on one character, then obviously your other character won't be a fledgling. That doesn't make sense, right? Because then it's you, veterans again, that get that flag for no reason. You know what I'm talking about. Flag should be account wide. I mean, it is account wide if it's within that time frame. If you just started the game, it's a new account, then sure. But if you're 1 year vet, you don't need yellow flag. You know, the yellow flag is there for a reason. Fledgling tag will definitely be targeted unless a big penalty. Exactly, and that's why we add a big ass penalty on it. We want the players to, you know, players can kill and do whatever they want, but we want to make sure that a yellow flag player is a new player. It doesn't make sense to kill them because we all want new players, and unless we kill them and take their nothing items, you know, the better for them to get into the game. The more hours they spend in the game, the more value they build up, the more they adapt to how you play Mortal and how easy it is to replace items, the easier it is for them to take that loss and kill over time. But if they're completely new, they have been carrying everything, all the gold coins, and they be playing for a whole long time, you know, many days on Haven, and they go in Meerland, and they continue carrying all that, and then they get killed and laughed at, and they lose all their items. They're completely naked, they have nothing, they don't know what to do, and they haven't had the time to invest, they haven't had any time to get into a deep, interesting area that makes them, you know, urge to play more. That's when we can lose new players, right? So we need to get past that. We need to make sure they stay a certain amount in the game and learn and adapt before they are ready for full violence. Yeah. When you guys going to make this game playable for colorblind, literally impossible for someone to play. Sani, so we're absolutely keen on adding support for colorblindness. The problem is I know too little about it, what we can do, what those options usually are. I think Sebastian knows a little bit more than me. He have looked into it a little bit and absolutely agree that obviously we should add those options. That helps. So it's something we plan to do. The question is where we put it in the schedule and what it requires and how much work it is. We always try to measure, you know, how much of a demand and prioritize the different things we need. Obviously, if it slowly increases, there's a demand for color blinding code support, option support, then obviously it moves up in the prioritized order of things, right? So yeah, but it's something we want for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there will be some veterans starting another account, and then obviously they can smurf a fledgling flag, but it doesn't really break anything because they can't abuse it how they did in Mortal 1. They won't be unkillable, right? You can still kill them. They don't have any magical protection in a way that is useful for a veteran to abuse that much, I would say. It was quite much worse in Mortal 1. But obviously, if, you know, I don't know if the players find a new way to break things or make things bad, obviously we need to take a look on it, right? With the flag system, I also feel more details to work with others should be encouraged, such as pushing to guilds or having deep guys on your site people can use to see Excel sheets that are already made to help them. Yeah, absolutely. I also want to expand on a system where a fledgling player, I want to give them a system that if a veteran helps them or friendly or recruit them or something, that fledgling should be able to tag that character, that player that has been helpful, give him a rating kind of system, and he should be able to get something in return, and obviously that veteran should be able to get something in return. You know, I'm looking at some of the games that try to do this, but haven't really successfully done it. I think they try to do it in UO as well with the apprentice system. There should be something that encourage other players or veteran players to help a new player, and if they've done a good job, they will get a little reward, and the new player will get a reward, right? So it's mutual, and that's a good way to get him into the game in some way as well. But I haven't really found out exactly what key points could be good in that kind of trade. And obviously, you know, if you guys have some awesome ideas, we are happy to hear those, because those kind of system I think could be good. So there's another meaning to actually help a new player to get them aboard in the game. I mean, we all want more players, right? So, you know, what can we do to help even more is good. You could put a time on yellow flags, then the item disappears. They can abuse the yellow flag by using their unattackable yellow character to serve as a shield for other characters. They will be attackable, as I mentioned. They won't be unkillable, so you won't be able to not die, you know, and safely transport items or such. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. You won't be able to transport stuff because you're invul. And that's, you know, when we consider all this, and then obviously we can see where if you can't be killed, veterans absolutely will be abusing them to do such value runs or whatever, right? So we obviously try to be careful in having proper punishment if, you know, it's a pure just killing them for funds. You know. Mentor points. Yeah. A mentor system would be awesome if we could find a right promotion for both sides, right? But I think it's a little bit difficult. I haven't had too much time to try to think it through to see what could fit mortal. Yellows can still be killed. Yeah. Can it not be yellow cause that is war deck people? I mean, war deck should be orange as default. So quite a difference from orange and yellow. But obviously the tint of color is something we have to tweak, right? Yeah, social scoring system don't work. Yeah, not only that, I think there needs to be a trade, you know, so there's a little bit incentive. And you know, a lot of people they do want to expand their guild. They want more players to play with, so that's alone is a good incentive. I mean, if they have proper effective tools to recruit players much more easier, then obviously that goes a long way as well. So I have high hopes in a notice board guild recruitment system to help both new players that are looking for guilds that very often happen. They don't know that they have to go to Discord to search through guilds. They should be able to search through them in-game, right? Give them a cape. That's a good one, yeah. Roaming world bosses, we absolutely want to do that. And today we actually took a little sneak peek internally on a really cool system that I think will surprise you whenever we, you know, get to the more finalized states. But there's some things slowly moving forward in the background that will absolutely, you know, it ties a little bit to invasion system and world bosses and world happenings and event types of things. It's slowly progressing in the background a lot with the systems we're building now, so we can utilize and reuse a lot of the systems we build. We always try to build in a clever way where we know we get a lot of bang for the buck for one kind of system, because of manpower. But yeah, that was really exciting to see that today. Some really cool stuff. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it as well when we finally have the time to add some of that in the game. Yeah. Can you make it so more inside town limit result in 10x more accounts? Yes, we could do that. We could absolutely do that. First thing to do for more players, the streamers hunt new players down and delete their gear for kicks. Not exactly a good impression for new viewers, players. What? The streamers hunt new players down. What stream are you referring to? Still easy to infiltrate another person's guild so you can loot their buildings. It depends on the rank you give them, right? If you invite a stranger and give him the fullest rank, then it's on you, right? So it's all in the player's hand, as it should be. Yeah, I mean, if it becomes that people are getting killed way less being yellow and veterans start to abuse that, buy new accounts every now and then to run valuable items, and that becomes a problem, then obviously we may have to enter that lane and add special rules, kind of like we had to do in the first game, like you can't carry this much of this value, you know, if it comes down to that, that is. You know, it's we can speculate, of course, and we have past experience how it was abused in the first game, but I don't see us going as extreme that it may not be as abusable. But yeah, sure. I mean, if that becomes a big problem, we obviously are ready to possibly add special rules tied to the yellow flag, right? It's one of the few areas that I guess it makes sense to have such special rules if needed. Yeah, so we have the tabard we had a dice system and we had a guild logo emblem design system. It didn't make the top 10, unfortunately. Everyone still wants it a lot. So I said that earlier in the stream, either we have to bump it and say this is going to go in here in the roadmap, depending on interest. Like I said, we want to do another round. I mean, when we have finished this roadmap, we're going to see a little bit what the players think should be added next, quite high in the priority list. But we may also have to add some specifics that we know we simply need it. Everyone wants it, you know. And if that doesn't make the top voting, then you know maybe it still needs to be in the game, right? So it's that kind of balance we need to count for. We fully understand that it may not be everyone that are willing to pay a subscription for this type of game, but we also try to show the world and the players that this is a better value in return compared to most free-to-play, pay-to-win MMOs out there. If you want to be something to be a force in those games or competitive the slightest, you have to pay way much more than $14 a month in those games. I played a lot of those. I know exactly how they work and how they use your mental weakness to just $5 more, just $5 more. I want to save those hours, just $5 more, and then you're He-Man, right? And kill everyone else because you paid $150 in 2 weeks. You know, it's a bad gaming experience. I hate those type of games personally. I believe more in a full-fledged gaming experience where skills matter, your knowledge, everything you find you can share. It's a player-driven economy. Everything is much better for a sandbox player. But yeah, if you're not a sandbox player and you want more like, I don't know, a free-to-play, pay-to-win MMO, and you want to spend $150 in the coolest rainbow dress with cool axe with fire and you kill everyone else because they haven't paid $50 for that axe, then sure, I understand. You know, this game may not be for those players. So we fully understand that, and we know that it won't be for everyone. But we also hope that we have an audience that maybe is a little bit older, that can afford $14 a month and get one-of-a-kind experience, no bullshit, no pay-to-win, no crap. And that's our dream, at least. If we are wrong and, you know, that type of business model is out of date, you know, obviously we have to cross that bridge when we get there if we have to adapt to that very bad, sad, gaming experience business model. We hope we don't have to, you know. So when I'm looking for games, there may be games I'm excited for, and then I see, okay, it's free to play. Then I know exactly how it's going to be. There's going to be a paywall, and there's going to be pay to win. There's going to be time drainers, and they may be good. So I feel, well, they deserve some money. I want to pay some money because I enjoyed it, and I maybe enjoy it a little bit more. And then there's a new paywall, right? And if I want to continue that progressive playing and I want to play as much as I want, I have to pay a lot more than $14 a month. So it all comes down to what you're looking for as a game, I think. You know, the game isn't free to play, it's $40. Yeah, I'm referring to other games that are free to play and pay to win. We are not, and we don't want to be, because we want full experience for the players, and it's the same experience for everyone. And, you know, no pay to win. That's what I'm saying. But like I said, you know, if we are old school in here that enjoy that, and no one else wanna enjoy that freedom, then of course we have to take a look on what that may mean for Mortal Design. I don't know, and I hope that won't be the case, right? I mean, we don't need that many players paying for a subscription for us to actually, you know, first of all break even, and then very quickly after, you know, make profits and be able to expand and give you even more content and updates and free expansion forever. So it goes hand in hand completely, right? Why are we pretending free-to-play games that aren't pay-to-win don't exist? I mean, the majority of MMOs today are pay-to-win, right? Free-to-play, as in free-to-play. Because it's a more attractive business model. It sneaks up on the teenagers. They pay just $5, that's nothing. But then when you look at the bills in the end of the month, they're gonna say, "Hey Toby, what the hell is this? $255? What the hell have you been buying, man? You're not playing that anymore." You know? You know what I mean? Yeah, we are actually good on subs right now. It's Toby. We're quite happy with the progression. Every day we increase subscriptions. Monthly is going up. And if this rate is holding up, we're good. We're good. So yes, it's going to be exciting. The next couple of months, we will see more exactly where we're standing. But we're absolutely moving in the right direction. So things are looking promising. I mean, there's been a lot of doomers said that, you know, we will have no players after the free month. After free month, we increased a lot. And then after, you know, the support pack, you know, those are running out and they keep building up. So we're very happy. And thank you all, players and supporters, because you are making this happen from now on, guys. So we very much appreciate your support in, you know, hopefully you enjoy it as much. You feel it's worth having a subscription, and that's all we need to continue to work. So yeah, nice voice acting. You know, Toby. Solas, thank you very much. Toby. What is that? Give a tier 1 sub to Toby. It's their first gift sub in the channel. Thank you very much, Toby. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, right? There's never been a good free-to-play MMO. All the best MMOs have had a monthly subscription since the very first one. Ultima Online, and the price has always been $50 a month, even with the inflation over the last 25 years. Right? So, exactly. When I started playing Ultima Online back in 96, 97, I paid those $15 every month. If you convert that to today, you know, that should be extremely much more. Everything else with inflation that have changed over the time, that amount have never changed. You know, I mean, everything else goes up, the cost goes up, so obviously that means we need a few more subs to cover that, right? But we respect that kind of price, you know, since back then, and I fully agree, Merculus, what you say. Those golden games that I've enjoyed the most have had that business model, and I played and enjoyed some other MMOs, but not close at all when it comes to those free-to-play MMOs. They're designed in a very different way, right? And that design, for me personally, makes the MMO worse, and that's the main factor, right? Because you have to design the entire gameplay in a different way. There have to be enough hype and coolness in the first hours and days. You get a little bit hooked, right? And then you have to run into a paywall and say, shit, I don't want to do this, so I'm paying. You know, and that's a very bad gaming experience. I don't want to have to feel that I pay more every time I want to enjoy the game more or be more competitive. I don't want to have any struggle or any crap in my face when I play the game, and I don't want any differences with the other players and be worse or better than other players because I paid more. You know, I want to pay an acceptable amount that I think is worth the value I get in return, obviously, and then I want to do whatever I want in game. And that's the model of Mortal Online, right? Of course, the sub-payment method is the best, but what do you do when your game has an average of 800 players? So this is one of the things that we always keep talking about, right? And we're going to see if we can do some updates on the webpage to kind of iron that out once and for all. So if we had 800 players, then we wouldn't be sitting here today because we can't survive with 800 players, right? So if you look at Steam chart, first of all, you're quite misguided. Those numbers are quite off. They even show a negative trend when we had a positive trend. And I think a lot of you guys have been experiencing that in the game with a lot of action, a lot of fights in many areas. So obviously we want to show the real numbers in a way where we can see what's actually happening in the world. And we may want to show our active player base because that's what matters, right? That's how you know how many people can go on and off over the days. And those are the players that pay the subscription. If we have 800 players paying the subscription, and that's all our players, you will see about 80 or even, around 80 players or I would say 20 to 50 players online concurrent if that was our player base, which obviously means there will be no population to play around with, right? So that's always been a big topic that people look on Steam chart and think, oh wow, that means we have no support, no players, no subscription, but it's extremely misguided and not correct at all. I'm very happy with the numbers we have. They're quite impressive, far more than what people think, absolutely, especially when people are talking about in the very low thousands. So, you know, and we are moving up. Every day we're increasing those numbers. So we're quite happy where we stand and the direction looks very promising. If we can deliver solid patches now and be somewhat on time and we can see that trend following, then obviously it's very exciting for us because that means we are slowly looking to expansion and so on. So that is the goal, right? So yeah, concurrent on Steam or concurrent for real compared to active players within a week and paying players. Those are very different numbers, right? And that's where we see a lot of people get confused. They take a quick look on Steam chart and think, oh wow, we only have 800 players right now, and that's all the players we have. So, but that's not how it works. Second character slot is next patch. We start in PTR next week. No need to put active numbers. The slide is down tick on and the Doomsayers win. That's also true, right? There's a lot of MMOs. One of the first out that showed their impressive numbers was World of Warcraft, and for very good reasons. Insane numbers. I mean, multiple million players. We all know what kind of success story that is. Then came some other giants that want to compete with that. They have close to similar resources, but they failed. Guess why they didn't show their numbers, even though they were quite impressive? They looked like a failure compared to WoW numbers. So they decided not to show those numbers. And all games and gamers works with that in mind, exactly like you say. Like, okay, I want to play this game. Are there many players playing it? Because it's an MMO, I want to invest time. They want to feel that there's enough players, so it's exciting and fun, right, for their investment. And comparing Mortal Online to those giants or multiple region-based servers, it's also a very big difference, right? We have worldwide, so we don't have 5 online during, sleep time, and then 2,000 during peak time. We have it more evenly spread out because it's one world server and all the different countries, right? And we do have more players in regular in one world compared to a standardized WoW server today. So that means if you're happy to play WoW today, you're more than happy with population to be able to play Mortal Online. So there's many factors tied to this, and you're correct. If we show that, there's only this many thousand players currently, and they keep in mind 40 million peak World of Warcraft, well, no one is playing it in their mind, right? So it's also a lot of psychology. We don't want to fool the players in believing that this is comparable with a game like World of Warcraft, because it's not. So good points and important points as well, depending on how players perceive that kind of data. So yeah, it's not that simple actually. Holy shit, 2 hour mark, guys. I think it's time to do our classic giveaway, guys, before it gets too late. Let's do the roll. Explanation mark MO2, and I will roll it in a moment. I think many people stop playing because the game looks empty. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not empty. It's been going up the latest week, and there's a lot of action and a lot of people enjoying it. And it's the 2 latest patch have been huge success. People have been very happy. We got a lot of DMs and emails from people, are happy to see that we are regularly delivering good content now, and the plan is obviously to continue that path. So yeah. Exactly, numbers mean nothing as long as the world feels full, which as the next position, make open world great again. Yeah, absolutely. Will you sell more character slots in the future? So it's a little bit sensitive, right? We did a lot of rework in the skill system and reputation matters and all that when we went back to one character slot system like Star Wars Galaxies. Now, when we see that, people want more with a subscription, they want to be able to do more than one build. We understand that. We make it happen now, even though we are still expanding on the veteran system and what you can do on these 2 characters. We don't want you to be self-independent, self-sustainable, and not trade as much or engage with players. It's one of the core features of the game, right? So that's why we still want you we don't want you to be dependent on everything, right? Covering everything on 2 characters, and you won't be able to on 2 characters. We want to promote player interaction and trades and so on. So we're careful, right? There's been a few against the second character slot, but the majority think it's too little, right? We need more. And now we're getting twice as much with a fully new, clean character without splitting the professional skills on them. But yeah, we will be careful, right? Because we want to make sure we promote that. Population only matter for one. Your server feels alive. Other games have 50 million servers, all of which those other servers didn't affect you at all. Absolutely true. It's also another factor, Nave. Like I said, it's a good point. People look in this game, there may be 1,000 servers, right? And there is 300 online on average on all of them. Oh, there's so many playing this. I'm gonna play it, right? We have more than that in one or our server. So obviously, this game have much more action and population than and playing those games, that many of those MMOs. So it's true also, right? We only have one, and that's something that a lot of people don't know or understand, because they're coming from traditional MMOs that have thousands of regional based servers, and they have a dead time and a peak time, right? And it goes from completely dead to too crowded in cases where it's popular, and then it slowly dies out over time, right? And theme park games are also more like level based, so you play through the new grounds and then you never go back. So it's only the end game that are crowded, everything else is completely dead. Our world, we try to promote it with interesting components, interactions, dungeons, and reasons to keep, having the world alive, cycle and live wherever you want. There'll be new things added in every regions, so the game can feel alive in various time cycles wherever in the world also. So that's also good points that you're making there. One world that can be very populated very quickly also. So obviously we also need to be prepared for expansion steps further. If things goes as planned and smoothly and continue in the right direction, we also need to be prepared that, Milan is not going to be enough when we reach a certain point of players again. Also, if new players, new generation joining in the game, they want to build cities and they can't because Milan is full, right? So, and it's supposed to expand. It's a sandbox game, a huge world with different continents, with exciting new dungeons, themes, clades, and monsters and things to discover. So obviously, when we're playing on Milan only for a few years, we get a little bit bored about it, right? We want to find a new lands, new mounts, new armor types, designs, and challenges, and more everything, right? And all those expansion is included in the subscription fee. We don't charge you another expansion like World of Warcraft does, right? So yeah, it's never gonna be it's always gonna be a debate around that, right? What people think and how they preserve the different numbers and such. But I think a lot of people in here get it now and understand what are those main differences that a lot of people forget about when they come here from nowhere and compare it to WoW numbers, which is crazy. Yeah, there's been areas on Milan obviously that have less content, and like I said, we are mapping that out. We know of them and we try to fill them now with dungeon, points of interest, and new things. So wherever you build and decide to live, there should be something nearby that goes from casual to challenges and value in different forms. That is the ultimate end goal for entire Milan. 2 slots is good, and you got veterans later. Yeah, that's gonna expand it a lot more, and a lot more gaming specification, I would say. You quite quickly max out the character now, especially a melee combat fighter, and the clade is quite forward also to max up, right? But the veteran system will allow you to expand and fine-tune in a nice way, much longer and better character progression that goes hand in hand with the RP elements also, right? That a lot of people have been asking for and missing a little bit here. It's been, to build a basic character is quite fast and easy, and a lot of people enjoy that. It's not an insane farm for you to be competitive and be part of a great war, and that's a cool thing, and I like that. That should be added more depth, that you can continue refining and fine-tune and master things and enjoy more progression on your character over a long period of time. And that's what's coming also with the veteran system. When we'll be giving away subscription time, yeah, have to ask Sebastian when it comes to the code support for that, how that can be handled, and he's a little bit busy, but maybe we can do something soon. I'm gonna ask him what is required, if it's somewhat doable in our current time frames. We'll see. Will I get banned if I use a nude mod for this game? No, we're actually looking into a possible add a little DLC option, and that solves our current situation where we can't add it still. But doing it that way, it is approved. So that's actually how we may enable nudity for those that want it back, that you can do a little download, updates, and you will have the option back. That may be the case. All right, let's see. I'm gonna roll it in just a moment. If you just tune in, exclamation mark M2. Rather 1,000 players server than 2,200 players. Yeah. But again, it's so much psychology, right? If they see, oh, there's a huge community, many players play it. It's such a deep-rooted thing with the MMO, right? You want to feel that there's a lot of players involved in this. So it's a very understandable question that everyone makes, right? But when they compare straight with WoW or those kind of games, they get misleaded, right? That, it's not very comparable. So you have to understand there's one world, and we have over 20,000 players actively in this world. Quite a bit over that. And that's quite impressive. That's a good population, and it's slowly going up. We are losing too many new players currently. Like I mentioned before, that's why we're doing heavy focus on new player experience. Because if we can change the new player drop off just a few percentages, it's going to be very exciting with new player growth. And that's very important. So that is why we are focusing on some things there in the background. And that's the updates we did today on the Sprint 3 that you can see. So it's going to be very exciting to follow up on the numbers on new players after that patch, because that should do quite an impact, because we covered everything all new players, all reviews have been complaining about, or got stuck or annoyed or have bad experience. So that's going to be quite exciting to see. Because it's also switched very quickly, right? Just a few more players online and it can feel quite crowded. And a few more, it can be very quickly almost too crowded. At some point in time, during a few months, I got a lot of DMs saying, I can't play this game with solo or with my friends because there's too many players, always occupied, always wiped, and we want to do things without having to push around with players. So it can quickly go to that. So that's why it's important for us to spread a lot of hot points, hotspots and dungeons and things. So there's things to do for more players whenever it grows quickly again. Like I said, also be prepared for further expansion. No news about new playable races at this point, no. And plans to introduce API for MO2. It'd be nice to have a price check Discord bot or a website to price check things. So we've been discussing quite a bit how we want to update the chat system. It's a standalone, quite robust system, but the support for it right now kind of sucks, right? So there's no doubt we want to update our system, but we also want to make sure that it's good and fits more online and it's still helpful and good for different things. We want to update the broker system. There's some issues with that as well. The thing is, when there's a lot of talented devs out there that do awesome websites, and they can access API and stuff like that and pull data in real time from the game. People utilize that if that is effective, right? So then the option comes for us. Well, do we let all the veterans struggle and find their way over to that outside of the game, or do they find something that works in game, including new players that needs it the most, right? And that's a tough line, because at the same time I wanted to be Mortal Online. I wanted to be, you know, the unique sandbox experience it is. I don't want to sacrifice everything so it becomes a more casual theme park-like type of game when it comes to those areas also. And I also think that a lot of you guys want to have something different from the classic theme park MMOs. But in some areas, you know, we simply have to adapt a little bit to see what makes sense, because if it's just a struggle and all veterans learn to use it offline or outside of the game, and the ones that needs it the most, as in the noobs, and we lose them because they struggle too much, then it's not very good for the growth of the game, right? Tarvek, thank you very much for the Prime. Appreciate it. So when we go into those debates in those areas, it's always a challenge, right? We don't want you guys to feel that we are stepping away from Mortal, but also makes it great. But at the same time, we need to, some areas may have to adapt that everyone can enjoy the game and get into the game, right? Will we ever get the relic system? Yes, we will. We just will decide where it goes. Any chance to add global chat so that help will not be flooded? we absolutely need an update and change in the help chat and system, and give you the tools to have alliances chats and so on. But if we want to go that far, that we will have multiple tabs with trading and that kind of communication, as in WoW, do we really want to go there, or do we want to utilize those in more local areas, tools that can send update information, link to towns, incorporated more in the game world? But yeah, absolutely whisper, the GM responses, guild chat, actions, skill information, game information, and alliances chat, and guild recruitment communication should absolutely be updated. That is clear. Let me jump down a little bit. I'm way behind again here. Just bought 6-month pack, Henrik. Been supporting you guys from MO1. Fshin28, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. That is awesome. It's exciting time, at the same time nervous, because, you know, we heard a lot of doomsayers say, oh, there will be 0 subscribers after the 3 month, 0 subscribers after support pack. But I've been wrong so far. It's growing steadily, and it's all thanks to you guys. And that's what makes us be able to grow, expand, and give you even more patches and content. Smoochy Kisses, thank you very much for the 17th month. Appreciate it. Just started playing the game, loving it so far. Templars, welcome to Mortal Online. Awesome to hear you found the game. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you find a nice group of players that you can enjoy the game even more in depth. Because it really shines when you play with others, you know, using VoIP and such. It's just a unique experience. I love it. Every time, it's pure joy, right? Unique experience. A lot of people start out solo, you know, figure things out on their own, and that's perfectly fine, right? But it's can quickly become a little bit more challenging, and also a lot more things shines a lot when there are player interactions in various forms, right? So never be afraid of engaging with other players. There's really nice groups in our game. I'm very happy to have those in our game, and it's awesome to pay them a visit every now and then. In game, I sneak up on them and I shock them, not with the spell, but with my voice. And what is unique is why, indeed. Okay, let me catch up a little bit, and then I'm gonna roll the key. It's not a new player expenses, salty contract, PvP crowd in MMO2 that is chasing away new players. There's absolutely many factors, and I think we have a very good coverage of the main concerns from new players, main feedback, and there's been a lot to work with there, and we have a plan. If the majority of that works as we are hoping, it will be a huge difference, absolutely. But there's a combination, absolutely. You know, we have many times said there will be harsh penalties for slaying noobs, and then they laugh at the penalties, right? I don't care about murder counts because I'll live out in the wild. Sure, that's right. And then there's been some more patrolling guards. God damn it, I hate the guards because now I can't chase the noobs as much. Well, okay, you know, there are several steps towards that. So, but I think we have some good points. Some that affects that, and also some. There are also absolutely some new player experience that is simply bad, and we can improve that greatly. Yeah, the interaction with GMs is awful. We need to update that, so we are looking to do updates on the chat system. Yeah, so the rewards for task system, we don't have many rewards, right? We have a high-end cape in all of them, which the veterans enjoy because it's cool capes. We want the capes, right? Obviously, we need a steer of rewards, so it feels more like, especially for new players, they want to, you know, progress steadily on that stair, so they don't just, because they also don't know what's so cool with this cape, but you know, right? You are veterans, so you know why you want the cape. So obviously we need a steer of rewards, and that's what we're working on as well. Various types of rewards for all the tasks that we're adding. And of course we want something higher than the capes, right? There will be even more high tier goals, and we're going to expand the tasks. Right, let's roll the dice, shall we? I think it's time. It is almost 2.5 hours. I'm always delayed on my stream, guys. Time flies when we chat about all these things. But let me scroll down. Please, no global chat. Help chat needs to be removed or limited to only heaven. Yeah, I think at least how we had the help chat in the first game was quite good, and it worked very well. And that was that every new player started automatically in the help chat. After X amount of days and hours, you were removed from it. And we had helpers, veterans that could sign up to be in this chat. If they got approved, they got a helper tag, and they could actually be in there and help the new players. And there were a lot of nice players that enjoyed helping out and being very knowledgeful and helping. So that worked very well. They were active in this chat, helped a lot of players, and we saw that a lot, that they enjoyed doing that, and the new players thought, wow, this is awesome, there's so many helpful players in this game. So that worked pretty well. So either it needs to be something like that again, or some kind of change. I agree, absolutely. It's definitely a fun game. I started a week ago. I already have over 100 hours almost. It's the Tarkov of MMOs. Welcome, Trusted Me. It's always awesome to hear new player getting into the game and enjoying themselves. That's awesome. All right, let me scroll down again. I thought I was down, but I wasn't. No, the ritual tables are not cancelled. They have just been put on hold since that developer didn't stop working with us. No one really had the time to go through it and update it. Obviously, we need to do it, right? And we will. The question is where and how we fit it. We always struggle with adding more things on the table because we are only so many developers. The GMs have been great. Much appreciation to them. Awesome to hear that, Mukatil. They deserve our praise and that kind of feedback every now and then. I know they struggle hard. Sometimes it's a very challenging, dynamic MMO. And when something goes south, it's understandable. There's frustration. And the GMs really want to help out. And they absolutely do their best. Sometimes they are bound and limited with situations that are new or problematic. And they need to engage with the developers. And that may take time. They may be busy. But it's a side path that we're slowly expanding on and trying to improve wherever there may be new issues. So it's awesome to hear that they're that the players also can experience that they are doing everything they can in their power to help whenever it's needed. All right. Well, wow, I was not catched up. Sorry guys, I'm scrolling down. Okay, now I'm up to date. Right, giveaway time, guys. Where the hell do I? All right, good luck, everyone. Here goes the spin. Boom. Let's go. Let's go. Number 2 for PS5. We have been talking to both Sony and Microsoft. There's interest in it, but it all comes down to, again, resources and time, unfortunately. Let's see who wins here first. Congratulations, the Woodland Rogue. Woodland Rogue. Congratulations. It's not impossible. There are some interest for it. But again, resources and manpower and planning is the determining factor for it. So I won't say never, but and down the road, if things goes in this direction, moving up, getting more resources, everything is possible when it comes to expansion and expanding the game in different ways. So we will see down the road, depending on how things goes, right? Let's take a look on the Woodland Rogue. Is he here? Is he here, guys? Woodland Rogue. The Woodland Rogue. The Woodland Rogue. Woodland Rogue. Can you send me a DM, Woodland Rogue? Is here? Is measured? All right, all right. All right. Can you write a DM response? And we will get it going. Congrats, the Woodland Rogue. Are you a MO1 veteran, MO2 veteran, or rather new? My classic question. SOSs included Xbox players, and they were all nicknamed Bob. Assume we as a community can band together and also call any console MO players Bob. That's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Yeah, there are some marketing regions that we're looking into. There are some grand companies that have player bases in insane amounts. We're looking into different opportunities there. If we can progress in some of those areas, that means we will have armies of new players joining in the game also. So obviously that's something we are also looking on now when we are reaching certain points in the development where we want to keep on expanding. That includes PC Game Passes on Microsoft actually. I had that conversation with Microsoft. All right, that was the giveaway, guys. Let's go to our ending note. Any news on when free-to-play Haven is planned? Great way to get your friends to try the game. No, I don't have a time frame at this point. Sprint 3 have very important new player experience updates, including huge updates on Haven. But that is not the step for when we do the convert to free-to-play. That step will be later. There are certain steps we need to do to support that. And I'm not sure when that is. So we are approaching the final work on the sprints, as you know, the team work ahead of time on the sprints before we can release them. And we're not sure yet what's going to be the upcoming roadmap focus. Obviously, we want to tap into, again, the community to see what's next. You know, what do you want to see next? Is it still based on the same prioritized order as it was the last time you voted, or have it changed? And if we decide to lift a few things that we know everyone wants them, and we want to make sure they get into one of the sprints, that kind of focus needs to be done after a while. I mean, we still have a bit more, obviously, on sprint 3 and 4 before we are fully done. But we're getting there, so the work will soon begin in planning that ahead also. Favorite comedian? Not sure, actually. Not sure. Good question. Good question. A long time I actually saw something really solid that I really enjoyed and laughed at. I'm not too easy. How do I say? How the hell do I say it? I'm not sure. I mean, there's some good comedians in USA, I think, but I'm not sure if I have a favorite one. Sprint 2 PTR starts next week already. If things goes as planned, and depending on how that goes, there's 2 very big systems: the character slot system and the TC Siege window system that we would like you to test as much as you can. And hopefully that will go quite smooth, which means we can prepare to go live quite soon after. So it depends on the feedback of how everything works. Free Haven is a fantastic idea and will really help grow the game. Yeah, we believe also that is the case. So that's why we will make it happen when we are ready for that sprint. When I will make you laugh, it's an end game goal for these streams. Indeed goes lords, indeed. I mean, it's been super fun in game. There's been some laughing game. There's always some shenanigans, some fun stuff going on. So you never get bored if you jump in and use VoIP Immortal, that's for sure. I think we should arrange a little run soon where we meet up somewhere and we decide to visit the dungeon or something together and see how far we can make it. Would anyone be up for that? Some true shenanigans. We have a magical fix for the gold inflation that we're going to add eventually. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to see if people notice it whenever it is in. Right? So keep that in mind. Sounds lit, eh? Let's do it then, let's do it. Maybe next stream or something, what do you say? Maybe we can do something together. See what kind of shenanigans we can pull off. Vampires? Are you the Riddler? Maybe. I'm the mortal Riddler. I create a lot of riddles. Now I'm almost spoiling one thing. Seeing our way to victory. Have you heard this one? Listen to this song, man. Good stuff, eh? You wanna hear me sing, eh? Not too shabby, eh? Not too shabby. What's up for the music? Let's go. Spotify release when? Good question, good question. Time Fleebs. Thank you very much. I didn't make this song. It's me. It's me. Didn't you hear me sing in the intro? I was singing along to show you the singing skills, you know? Not sure if you catched it. Pretty good song, pretty good song. A little autotune, you know? We need a little autotune. There's many artists that doesn't sound good at all, but autotune fix it, right? I'm not tone deaf, at least. I can take the tones. You know? You're a nice singing voice, Henrik. Thank you very much, Gargly. Henrik's version. Will unarmed be receiving abilities as well? Yes, every weapon group is planned to have abilities. I sound terrible. I think most sound terrible, right? Like I said, even some big stars sounds quite bad without autotune. And it's crazy how almost anyone can do good songs because of the software today. There were this Euro contest vision in Sweden now, and like 5 of the contests are completely almost tone deaf, but autotune does it. I do better than those 5. Johnny Cash, eh? I'm not that good. But yeah, it's not like in the old days when there weren't that kind of software that pull it off for everyone, right? So today you only need like the face, the brand, and you can make any pop song for them using the software, right? Scary. Hope to hear that song as a metal or heavy metal cover. Blazing. Combust. Triple faint. Get the fuck out of here. Pretty cool, eh? How about Roxette, Henrik? Sweden has talent. True, true. We got some talent in Sweden. We be blazing. Smushy kisses. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. High tone. High tone. Yep. True. Yeah, it's a nice song. Cover Katy Perry, War. I'll see if my voice fits the theme, right? This one sounds really nice, Henrik. Glad you like it. Neat. She. Green? You have a lovely singing voice, Henrik. I will die every day in MO2. Tired every day waiting for you. It's good. Kid needs to hit you up for a remix, eh? True. Years. Buff fist fighting. I agree. I think we need to do that. We're actually looking to do some changes possible. I don't think the charge release system fits with fist weapons, so we may wanna try changing that to be a more classical punch system instead. Does it make sense, guys? Yes. Optimus Prime, that's a good one. Has to be able to test it. True. I don't unwind from work. Beer, golf, on what basket weaving at the local senior citizen home. It takes so much energy that, you know, if I just go and relax, sit down in the sofa, I'm destroyed, right? So I have to kind of get it going before it gets, you know, until it get a little bit later, so I don't fall asleep too early, because then I have trouble sleeping in the night. So I try to be a little bit active. I play some I used to play paddle, but not much anymore. It's always struggled to find for 3 other players, but I do go hit the gym, work out. That's one of my kind of, what I call it, I do enjoy going there now alone, just be in my own bubble, and I do some brainstorming and somewhat meditation while I work out. So that's working pretty well for me. Okay, we gotta have another banger, right? This is another banger, inspired from the Otherworld and a movie. See if you can guess the movie. All right, sit down. With you. Just wrap me up in chains. But if you try to go alone, don't think I'll understand. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, me in between. Yeah, this is from a movie. Can anyone guess it? You know, I'm an expert at movie music. 1 second and I know the movie when I hear movie music. It's one of my brain talents. Strange Days? No, that's not the movie. Ghosts? No, but there's a link to Ghosts. Back in your own world. No one guess it. No one knows. Braveheart? No. Titanic? No. It's horror. Alright? Horror is the... And it's rather new. My Little Pony. Never heard of it. Yeah, you got it, Cage. Insidious. Cage got it. XC Cage. It's Insidious. You have seen Insidious, right? Pretty good horror movie, right? And this is the latest Insidious movie. There's a few Insidious, right? I think. And this one is from that movie. I like it. It's pretty cool. It's cool. You know, it's when they go into that other side, the dead side, right? And it has a link to the Other World, right? So that's why I think it's a good fit for our game, Other World. Speed of which SVs release the content is snail pace. I think you're completely wrong, and actually the opposite. There's few large MMOs out there that releases huge expansion packs every month. We did it during the entire combat phase, like twice as fast, and everyone said, "Holy shit, you're adding so much, so incredible fast. You put everyone to shame." And obviously we had to slow down and pause all that kind of new development during the chaos of the release to fix core issues. And then we had to stay away from new content to go over to Unreal 5. There's been huge steps where we just have to put much on hold, unfortunately. Now, finally, we're back on production and content features. And we already delivered 2 patches so far within a month between, which is on track. And if you compare that to any other MMO out there with the amount of content, we are much faster in general. Because we have a very specific pipeline on how we work. We are on sprint 2 now. So I think you're wrong. Absolutely wrong. And we just have to continue to show that, you know, hopefully we can stick close to these somewhat monthly patches and show that we are constant and deliver steadily in this similar pace. But it's absolutely not snail pace. If you are at any game company in the world, you will see that things takes time, and our pipeline and what we deliver with the size of team we are is extremely fast. Huge system, very fast. But yeah, you know, hopefully we can stay to the schedule and don't get any huge delays moving forward. PTR starting next week, Sprint 2. Hopefully things will go smooth there, depending on how it goes. We will be looking at a release date sometime soon after. And then we're getting close to Sprint 3 in a similar pace, similar schedule time, which have been approximately a month as a base time, give or take some days. And I wouldn't say a huge expansion like that during a average month development time. That is far from snail path. Far. We are doing some work on some gifts, yes. We are aware of the tower shield and the pipes. We are doing some stuff there. You're gonna see it in upcoming patches. We're not gonna go too much in details, but there's some stuff we're working on. Yeah, I mean, it's very uncommon for any MMO to have decent expansion updates with new feature content, dungeons, and new lands. Regularly, when they're released, it usually takes many months before they have an expansion, right? Just look at World of Warcraft. I don't know what they have an expansion almost every year, every second year. I don't remember how they have been delivering those. But that's just more everything, right? New lands, I think new levels, a new great story. But there are also 1,000 developers. And they charge you for it. We don't charge for any of our expansion. Of all the devs, who plays on live the most? One of our coder have been playing Mortal quite a lot. I still think he played quite a lot right now. And then I would say it's me that also jump in and out quite regularly. I think we play the most. There's a few others that also play every now and then. But you know, time becomes an issue, and when you've been working on Mortal for many hours a day, you may want to take a little break from the computer in total. But there's a few playing Mortal. So impressed with those songs that I will not ask about every update and fletching at all. Adaptates and fletching at all. Songs were awesome. Best stream for like 4 months. Seth Lynch, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Well, content updates aren't at all level of an expansion. No, of course, I wouldn't call our sprints a huge expansion. You know, every now and then some sprints will be like expansion of bigger things, while some have less, right? Obviously, we can't do a huge, extreme development in every single sprint. Some things requires 2 sprints work from developers, right? So they have already been working on sprint 2 for quite a while. Same for sprint 3. Depending on how large they are, right? So that's the puzzle we do within the team. While there's always some things that obviously is more one sprint, fully development, and then we release it. So yeah, of course, I wouldn't call it a full expansion pack. More of expanding the world with more dungeons, right? Content, some features, quality of life, fixes, good stuff that we all enjoy, right? And then of course there will be more that we can call more an expansion. Like, okay, now we add a new continent. That is obviously a large expansion to the game, right? But there's still things we want to add and have on Milan before that is something we need. Obviously also depending on population, right? If that changes quickly, then obviously we may need to adapt a little bit. So yeah. But yeah, a normal sprint, an average month currently, and we've been pretty steadily on that time frame so far. But like I said, we also want to flag for if we need to rearrange or adjust something, or if something happens, like unfortunately with sprint 1 we got spawners, you know, bugging out. That took a little time for our developers to debug, monitor, and finally iron out. That steals some development time, obviously. Are Graves? I'm not. Why do you think I'm Graves? The game is leagues ahead of what at release. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. The team is working hard, that's for sure. And it's gonna be more exciting now, and I think we already shown that with the sprint patches we're delivering more regularly. We know it's haven't been very exciting with the transition with the new engine. A lot of standing still and trying to get back performance haven't been fun excitement to play around with, obviously, for the players. We understand that. But now being more on the base, we can go back more at fun development, both for the developers and also the patches will be more exciting. We're looking forward to 5.4 from Epic. We really hope they deliver something solid. It's unsure until we get our hands on it, but we have high hopes at least. And they have some work that they have done on performance also, so hopefully we will benefit from that. Can you host a contest for the community to make a castle replacement for Tindrum? It's ugly as sin up close. Yeah, it is one of those things that we would like to have as a nanite model. But we had to disable nanites because it's too buggy and kills performance too much. We hope Epic Games will change that. Maybe in 5.4, but I don't think it's ready for 5.4. But if you see it as a nanite, I think you're going to be blown away, Demo Man, because that's how it was intended. That's why it looks strange, because we don't have enough geometry to show an insane detailed castle. So it was actually meant to be nanites. Now just scaled down, ludded, not as nice castle, I agree. So either we have to rebuild it, or we hope that we can make it a nanite castle whenever nanites is running better. So that's why it looks like it is. Because he's always helping others and know everything about M2. I see. I think I recall his name. Probably a mortal veteran, right? Nice to hear. Someone's gonna use your sing in a PvP video. Calling it now, Henrik. Maybe. Mad King, maybe. Too early for a sneak peek on armor. I guess we could have a sneak peek soon. I guess so. But I pretty much decided that we're not going to sneak peek the Lycator. You're going to be blown away watching it in game instead. I think that's going to be cool. And we're getting closer and closer, right? It's for Sprint 3. But maybe we can make a sneak peek on the armor just to see that, people like it. So we don't have to remake it. I think it's going to be really cool. We have done a nice base, I think. What main change is on Unreal 5.4? So they have been working on Lumen's optimization, performance optimization in a few areas, which we are very happy to hear, because their latest updates have been only on eye candy and movie production, which doesn't care about gaming performance whatsoever. So we actually got a lot of hits on performance, especially the latest build we are on. It was a little bit step back, I think, in performance for games. It sounds like they've been focusing on optimizing the performance better for games in this patch. I hope that is the case. They've also been working on some of the, when you compile and cook things for your project, it's been insanely slow and a lot of downtime for us to build stuff. They have been doing a lot of optimization there to speed up that process, and that's great for production and development. So that's something we're looking forward to. So we may have more efficient development hours while we work. So those two alone is a win if those works. And as long as the engine is stable, some various performance updates that our game benefit from greatly, right? And speeding up development. Those would be the main things. And then there are quite a lot of minor things that maybe be something we can use or not. It's a bit too early to say. Have you ever thought about switching to Unity? No, we are experts in Unreal Engine and our network. This is a thing also a lot of people forget about. We have a one-of-a-kind network engine that we have built from scratch over 16 years. And it's been built for Unreal Engine only, starting on Unreal Engine 3, then moved over to Unreal 4, and rebuild it from almost from the core at that time to improve it for the future. And now we are fully obviously on Unreal 5. We're the world first in a large scale, as some brags, server meshing MMO large scale technology. There's nothing like it. There's a few on the horizon that want to do something like us. They claim they are the world first doing something like that, but I haven't heard about Mortal Online 2. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. So big creds to the devs at Star Wars that have made this impossible journey possible that taken 16 years. And there's nothing like it. So I'm gonna have a little chat with Epic Games, you know. Large scale network support in Unreal 5. That's a powerful thing. There's a lot of companies out there that want to do MMOs in Unreal 5 today. Some of them on the way, but no one have a large scale network solution. They are instanced Unreal Engine network protocol, which means 64 players pushing it to 100, and that's it. That's not MMORPG. We have that technology. It works for Unreal Engine 5. There's a lot of companies there that want to save those 10 years of MMO development and build their own MMO, right? Yeah, I'm playing Mortal Online. I have a mage and a melee fighter currently that I'm playing around with. Star Citizen, no comment. Maybe you're right, Hank. Maybe you're right. I think Unreal is surpassing Unity, so I don't think it was a wrong bet. When we bet on Unreal 3 back then, we didn't know, right? But today we know that it's one of the leading engines. But it's still not, you know, there's nothing in the network part that support large-scale MMO whatsoever. That doesn't exist in Unreal Engine. I think that's one of the big components that they are missing right now. So they could have an interest in, you know, why don't we support large-scale network also? You know, and that's, we got it. We got it. Unreal 5 is best because it also has good tools and support for developers. Yeah. Star Citizen Plus MO2, my favorite games. Yeah, it's insane those resources Star Citizen getting. Imagine if we got a fraction of those kind of resources. That will be Christmas every day. You may not like the combat Raynet, but it's actually one of the things that most players like in Mortal Alliance. Obviously, the combat may not be for your liking, but it's actually one of our strong points. And you will probably never in the closest 10 years from now see a real time with the details we have, similar to Mordhau, Chivalry, all those type of games that it's directly compared with, which is almost impossible to make in a real-time MMORPG. MMORPG network is very different from network replication you do on Unreal or Unity with multiplayer of 64 players. It's not comparable. So what we have done, and when people say, well, it's almost like Chivalry, it's almost like Mordhau, Mountain Blade, but you know, you can get hit more further away, it's not as detailed due to that. And yeah, it is true because it's a large-scale MMORPG. That's why you don't see a single MMO in the world that have this kind of detailed combat system with hundreds of thousands, hundreds of players in your screen fighting with magic arrows, blades, and where the blade connect with your arm. If your arm are there or not, you can't run through players like you do in World of Warcraft. I mean, the details of level is insane. It's light years ahead of time. And that is why also it suffers the way it does. Latency, a large scale, you can't ever have the same snappy response as you do on a network, local network. It's just the big difference. And we thought, you know, can we make this happen? Can we push the boundaries? And we've been doing that every year for 16 years. And it's so close that people compare us to freaking Mordhau or Chivalry, which is insane because you can't. But it is. That tells us something, right? What's your favorite movie and why is it Shrek? Shrek? Nah, I'm not sure. Difficult. I'm not sure what is the favorite movie today. I mean, there's Golden Gems, right? And there's some new good ones. I don't remember if I've seen a really good lately. Nothing that I saw Dune 2 recently. I mean, it was nice. It was beautiful, masterpiece, but I didn't feel like holy shit. It's super good, you know, the story, and it captured me. But it was good. But yeah. Mr. Pringle with the raid, eh? There's always room for improvement, right? But saying that the combat is bad, then obviously the combat is not for you, right? You may want to play World of Warcraft combat, which we are comparing it with large-scale MMO or New World combat. I don't know if those are more enjoyable. But this will always be player skills, real-time tracing combat, extremely detailed. That's what we are passionate about doing, at least, and that's why a lot of people enjoy the combat in Mortal 9. People are not developers, that's true, so obviously we can't be aggressive towards those that says, well, it's so much worse than Mordhau, and, you know, we understand why they said them. It's also a little frustration for us because we know it can't be a exact replication of those types of games, because comparing local network with large-scale MMO is such a huge difference that it's like comparing an animal with a physical object. That's the difference. But even though we managed to get so close that people compare it with Mordhau and those types of game, and it's, you know, it's not that far away from it, right? The latency is the issue, and how to build around that, and the different latencies. But I think it's awesome. I enjoy the combat a lot. Since combat beta, I've been playing with the players worldwide and just having a blast every time. And I'm missing it. I want to join in again and gather a group and have some group fights, because it's a one of a kind, and it's the best combat I ever played in an MMO, period. I'm a little bit biased, obviously, but I'm not alone with that. Waiting for fancy MMO like MMO2 to implement Eve's time dilation tech. It'd be hilarious to have everyone on the battlefield swinging in slow motion. Yeah, that's... I mean, EVE Online is brilliant because you can get away with so many things in a clever way without breaking the total experience. Like, there's thousands of instances in EVE Online because you warp through, jump through the systems, right? And that's brilliant, you know, because then you can split up the workload in a very clever disguised way of doing warp jumps. Perfect. We can't do that, so we have one world that you're running, and not only running, you're fighting them in real time. Imagine being able to run over a server mesh and fighting and hurting someone on the other side. That's never done in the world. I think Star Citizen is trying to do it, and I think it's one of a kind system. You can do that in Mortal 2. That's an achievement that is insane. And yeah, another way when they have huge battles in EVE Online, which is really epic. But what you're looking at is a zoomed out pixel dot system, slowed down to everyone to catch up what is happening. It's a completely different experience, right? But it works, you know, it's kind of cool. And you don't have to do any animation, no collision, no tracing, nothing real time. It's more like I enable this function to attack, and it does it whenever it ticks. Again, it's comparing an apple with an airplane. We do everything in real time, traces, collision. When you think about it and compare it, you're gonna think this is crazy. It shouldn't be working, and it shouldn't, but it does. Again, credits to the devs and Sebastian that have been working on this for so many years. Like Star Citizen says, The network is one of a kind and it's going to be groundbreaking in the world. Sebastian and the team have already done that a few years ago in Mortal 2, and that's the truth. You know, we have that tech that they are promoting right now. So you know, I wanna lift Sebastian and the guys for being able to do something such amazing. If you look at it, how do you feel about Funko making Dune MMO? Yeah, I seen that. Looks pretty beautiful, but to my current knowledge, is more like a survival, kind of like Conan, right? I heard they want to do it to support more players, but that is yet to be seen, right? MN2 has nothing in its combat system that needs to be modified. I feel like Jaime Lannister playing MN2. So since it's popular because they promise a lot of stuff without a delivery date and space, fans like to buy ships with interiors. Yeah, it's a brilliant business model that have been working incredibly well, right? Selling all those cool ships and people are buying them in insane amounts, funding insane projects. With that kind of resources, you know, anything is possible. So I'm sure they're gonna eventually get something, but there's a high risk of if they release something too early, it's never gonna live up to the hype. So it's better to just keep on milking and sell very cool ships and slowly expand cool stuff. And that's pretty much what they're doing, right? It may be a really cool MMO down the road, probably, because again, with those resources, anything is possible, right? If we got a fraction of that, we would just light years ahead with our development. Combat is amazing, skill-based for the win. I agree. Only which combat is faster and pair timing is shorter. Yeah, but those are the tricks, right? We need to make sure it works for the majority with latency, with hiccups, which happens in MMOs, all MMOs, including World of Warcraft. It's just that you don't notice them as much in World of Warcraft because they don't have that kind of details on hitboxes and traces and real-time stuff, which we focus more on. But yeah, I mean, the combat will be expanded on, so obviously there will be more skills involved, and it's going to be exciting to start PTRing that with the community. But I'm a developer and it's amazing technology. Thank you. The combat in MMO2 is best of any MMO ever. That's what the majority thinks of it. So when I hear a statement that the combat sucks, you know, it's kind of clear that obviously you don't like this kind of combat. You maybe want a tab target combat in other MMOs because maybe he's comparing to other MMOs, or he compared to Age of Chivalry or Mora, any of those, and want it exactly like that, right? That's a common factor also because we're a little bit similar like that. So yeah, I think we have a few updates on the task missions that are pointing quite far away. I heard something there. I'm not sure if they're updating it now or what's going on there. Going is a great mix. I'm a huge fan. Right, I'm hitting the 3-hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. And my queue, I tried to have the queue on 2 hours. So I think this is it for me today. It's getting a little bit late here. I'm getting a little bit tired. But as always, it's been a pleasure to hang out with you guys and have a chat and give you the updates. So Assassin is the biggest game grift ever. Grift. So why is no one talking about you and your game since Sebastian made years ago that Space Nerds guys claim to be the first today? Yeah, it's more like I said before, we are a small indie company in the shadows. Star Citizen have the entire world in front of them, right? So if they show a tech that not that many have seen in Mortal Online, and they claim it's the first, because maybe they don't know about us, right? There's a fair chance they haven't seen our game. If they had seen our game, maybe they wouldn't have phrased it that they are first in the world, because we already have the tech that they're describing that they want to do. And they made a test recently, right? And it was horrible and buggy and delayed with way less players than we do. But players seems to be hyped that wow, it's working. server meshing, and it can see players over the world. We have that, and it works pretty well now. We have ironed out a lot of issues down the years. So I feel a little bit sadness that Stalwart, Sebastian, and the team doesn't get the creds for what they're describing is actually already in Mortal 2. But I just assume that we're too small, right? Star Citizen don't know that we already beat them by a few years. Exactly what they describe, and even some more. So that's why I'm saying, we appreciate your support, and I want to give credits to Sebastian and the guys for actually doing that amazing tech that now this giant is trying to do as well. So yeah. Next sprint PTR next week. All right. We updated roadmap. Say good work, guys, to the team. Glad påsk. Glad påsk. Yes, I will, and I think they also hear you guys, so we appreciate your support. Star Citizen has nothing to do. Good work. Yeah, absolutely. Good work. I'm proud of the team. They've done amazing stuff. And like Star Citizen say, they have done one-of-a-kind technology that is years beyond its time. And we are world first with that tech. And I'm sure other games will follow slowly but steady. All right. Hope for another 16 years. Indeed, Laurel. Thank you very much. Right, let's take a look on a little raid, perhaps. A little raid. Where the hell do I have my raid window? Here we go. All right, let's see. Who do we got running today? Quite a few. Seen a few new streamers popping up as well, so that's awesome to see. Me and 5 friends just joined, and we're enjoying it so far. Looking forward to all the future updates too. Tuskin, awesome to hear, and welcome. And it's very enjoyable when playing with a group of friends, so welcome. I hope you enjoy it. Darkfall Online was the first with the tech, though. We were before Darkfall. I don't know if you remember Mortal 1. We were working almost simultaneously on a little bit similar games and tech, but a little bit different. All right, let's do a little poll, a little raid poll, shall we? We have quite a few to choose from today. Do you have any suggestions, guys? I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. Who do we put in the vote options? I wanna see if we can raid someone fairly new, right? So we do more cycles. Quite a few streamers. Let's do put 5 that I don't know if I have ever raided. Right? Let's take a look. Vote, guys. Clutch. Did I add Clutch? Yeah, Clutch is one of them, right? So go ahead and vote, and we will do a little raid. Want to stream the gaming, great content. I just feel like I don't have a glowing personality. Merithian, don't say that. We all have a personality worth, utilizing in one way or another. You will find your way. You will do whatever you enjoy, and just have fun in Mortal 9, and the shenanigans that happens on the stream usually offers entertainment. That's how I enjoy the streams, at least. Wait, I have a streamer. I picked, let's see, there's a few votes left. Clutch Caster, I think I think he's fairly new to the game and started the stream fairly new, right? If I'm not mistaken. And it seems like he's winning it today. Is he in the lead? It is. Clutch it is. I think I visited him when he first started, when he was new. And he struggled so much with the Walker General. Let's see if he's do better today, shall we? Tavern games soon, Demo Man. I'm gonna force it in. You know. I don't want it to be pushed back on roadmaps, etc. We need to force it in. We need tavern games. We're gonna enjoy so much. When I was talking in cities, I just imagine if we could sit and play games together while we talk, I would be there for hours. So we need them, and we will get them. I'm gonna force them in, Demo Man. All right. Let's raid Clutch then, shall we, and show some support and see if he have advanced throughout the Walker General challenges, shall we? All right. Thank you very much for all your questions, donations, subscriptions. We very much appreciate your support. You are the players that makes this game possible, and you help us grow and expand and make the game even better. And we're gonna take over the world, all right? Together, we're gonna take over the world when it comes to true sandbox experience. That is just a fact. We are getting there. Let's go to Clutch. Clutch casters. All right. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you on the next stream. Maybe we can do a little gaming session together for anyone that is interesting. That would be fun. PTR next week, if everything goes as planned. Hopefully you will be able to jump in and help us a little bit to test the new character slot, the siege window system. It's gonna be juice. All right, let's show some love to Clutch Caster and some support. All right, have a good night and see you.